Top of the day, people. Top of the day. Sorry for the delay. Oh my gosh. I tell you, children. Sorry. I'm late. Bella gets up first thing this morning and wants to do the most. So she just got quiet. She want to holler and scream. I'm like, look, girl, you need to go back to sleep. So, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Today, it is Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're in 2 Kings 15, 16, and 17. I ain't gonna run my mouth today, y'all, just because I'm so late today. All right. Let me get a sip of water. All right, here she come back.
Oh, that's something.
Tootie.
Baby diaper.
Okay, put it over there. Baby stuff. You can bring your toys down here, but you gotta be quiet, okay? And don't start crying again, all right?
That's a baby diaper.
Yep, put it right there. We'll take it out. Put it down. Okay, y'all. Let's wobble, y'all. Let's wobble. Tootie.
Mom,
Here.
you want to make a strawberry and oranges?
I'll use strawberry and oranges in a minute, okay? Okay, give me a few minutes and we're going to be good, all right? All right, y'all. 2 Kings chapter 15. In the 20th and 7th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, began Azariah, son of Amaziah, king of Judah, to reign. No, don't open it yet, Bella. 16 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, save the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burnt incense still on the high places. And Yahuwah smote the king so that he was a leper until the day of his death, and he dwelt in a several house. And Jotham the king's son was over the house, judging the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Jotham his son reigned in his stead. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, did Zechariah, the son of Jeroboam, reign over Israel and Samaria 6 months. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and his fathers had done. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Shallum, son of Jabesh, conspired against him and smote him before the people and slew him and reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? This is the word of Yahuwah, which he spake unto Jehu, saying, Thy son shall sit on thy throne of Israel until the 4th generation. So it came to pass. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 9th and 30th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria. And Menahem, the son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria, and smote Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and slew him and reigned in his stead. That's probably about the shortest period we've seen somebody reign, right? For a full month. And the rest of the acts of Shallum and his conspiracy which he made, behold, are they written in the book of the Chronicles of they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Then Menahem smote Tipsah and all that were therein, and the coast thereof of Tirzah, because they opened not to him. Therefore he smote it, and all the women therein that were with child he ripped up. In the 9th and 30th year of Azariah, king of Judah, began Menahem, the son of Gadi, to reign over Israel. And he reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah. He departed not all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Pul, the king of Assyria, came against the land, and Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. And Menahem exacted the money of Israel, even of all the mighty men of wealth, of each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and stayed not there in the land. And the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah his son reigned in his stead. In the 50th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekahiah, the son of Menahem, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. But Pekah, the son of Remaliah, the captain of his conspired against him and smote him in Samaria in the palace in the king's house with Argob and Ari, and with him 50 men of the Gileadites, and he killed them, and he reigned in his room. And the rest of the acts of Pekahiah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 250th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel Beth Makan and Jonah and Janoah and Kadesh and Hazor and Gilead and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. And Hoshea the son of Elah made a conspiracy against Pekah the son of Remaliah, and smote him and slew him, and reigned in his stead in the 20th year of Jotham the son of Uzziah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, began to reign Jotham the son of Uzziah, king of Judah to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah, and he did according to all his father Uzziah had done. Howbeit the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burned incense still in the high places. He built the higher gate of the house of Yahuwah. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In those days Yahuwah began to send against Judah Rezin the king of Syria, and Pekah the son of Remaliah. And Jotham slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Ahaz his son reigned in his stead. 2 Kings chapter 16. In the 17th year of Pekah the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and he made his sons to pass through the fire, according to the abomination of the heathen, whom Yahuwah cast out before the children of Israel. Remember, Yahuwah does not accept human sacrifice, y'all. And here's another thing, causing their children to pass through the fire. That was how they offered their children to one of their deities, or their false god Molech, causing their children to pass through the fire. Not just younger children, but older children too. Sacrificing human beings is a big no-no, and no righteous man could die for the wicked. It was a big no in Yahuwah's sight. Remember, if we have those things down and we remember what Yahuwah said, we won't get tripped up when we keep reading and there are some discrepancies, which would seem some discrepancies that will come along and we find, okay? And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria, and drave the Jews from Elath, and the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Syria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria, and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of Yahuwah and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent for it a present to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And King Ahaz went up to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. And Uriah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Uriah the priest made it against King Ahaz from Damascus. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached the altar and offered thereon. Give me a second, y'all. Oh, my mouth getting dry. Verse 13, 2 Kings chapter 16. And he burnt his offering burnt offering and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings upon the altar. And he brought also the brazen altar which was before Yahuwah from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of Yahuwah, and put it on the north side of the altar. And King Ahaz commanded Uriah the priest, saying, Upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering and all the blood of the sacrifice. And the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. Thus did Uriah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the laver from off of them, and took down the seat off the brazen oxen that were under it, and put it upon the pavement of stones, and the covert for the Sabbath that they had built in the house, and the king's entry without, turned he from the house of Yahuwah for the king of Assyria. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Ahaz slept with his fathers, and he was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his stead. It's about time we about to get a righteous king going up in here. Betwabu, Trina, Betwabu. Last chapter for the day, y'all. 2 Kings chapter 17. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuwah, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to what is that? Is that a typo? Well, he had sent messengers. No, it's not. It's a name. So he sent messengers to So, king of Egypt. It just said S-O. I didn't remember seeing that. Okay. And he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, and he had done as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahuwah their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen whom Yahuwah cast out from before the children of Israel, and the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuwah their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burned incense in all the high places, and did as the heathen whom Yahuwah carried away before them, and wrought wickedness, things to provoke Yahuwah to anger. I do, Tiffany. I actually do. Yay. I don't understand why people think that Yahuwah do not see them. And they say they did these things in secret. They secretly did these things. Like, who was the secret kept from? Maybe from some of the people that you didn't want to see. But Yahuwah's eyes sees everything all over the earth at all times. And there is a record being written about everything that we do that we should not be doing. as well as the good things. But I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe y'all just gave me a different heart. Or maybe I've just helped to, not saying I'm perfect by any means, but what I'm saying, sometimes I look at people and you can just tell some people have different hearts. And it's like, Father, I thank you for the heart that you've given me. Like a heart full of forgiveness and a heart that seeks to only want to know you and to search diligent after you. And that was a prayer of mine. Like, Father, give me a heart like King David so that I will have a heart after you. And I do believe he has answered that prayer, because sometimes, like I said, I'm not perfect, but there's just some things I'm just like, I couldn't dare bring myself to do that. I mean, I've been in a lot of different situations that you really have to make a choice. Are you going to do what's right? Or are you going to do what's wrong? And even to my hurt, I always choose to do what's right, So, and sometimes, let me see. Well, when I first learned it, I ain't going to say that always, but it tore me up so much that it's like, I hate that feeling. It's like, and I go back and I'm like, look, that was wrong. I shouldn't have did it, or I shouldn't have said that, or this is what I really wanted to say. I just kind of learned how to get my anger under control and watch what I say out of my mouth, because I was sick of going back apologizing to people. That feels horrible to have to do that. Even apologizing to a child, if you just snap off at them for no reason because you pissed about something or whatever, and the child looking at you like, what did I do? And then you got to go back and apologize. How many people are humble enough to go back and apologize to their children or somebody else's child? They didn't deserve that. So even, I don't know. I guess over the time, Yahuwah has cultivated my heart and changed it, So, and I can see that, I can feel that, So sometimes it's like, Father, I thank you for the heart you've given me, So, okay. Verse 12. For they served idols, whereof Yahuwah had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet Yahuwah testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers and that which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Y'all remember yesterday when I was saying when Yahuwah gets tired of it and you keep doing things, that he will let a period. Oh, I said congratulations, Trina. I didn't even know she had kids. Wait, did I know she had kids? Her fourth child? Wow. I said congratulations. But remember I said yesterday, before Yahuwah brings judgment, he will raise up prophets out of the midst of the people. He will raise up prophets and seers and dreamers of dreams, and they would give the warning. Repent and return to Yahuwah's commands. Repent and return to Yahuwah's commands. And when they completely discard the words of the prophets and the seers, prophets and seers are different. A prophet is not necessarily a seer, but a seer is always a prophet, if that makes sense. And seers are simply those who get visions and dreams like all the time, So, but I realized as I was learning, there was a difference. Although a lot of I don't know. Sometimes it would seem that they're the same, but not all prophets are seers. And I think about it, not all prophets are seers. A lot, Sometimes a lot of not all prophets are seers, but all seers are definitely prophets. That I do know and that I do understand.
Mommy.
Yes, babe.
Break this.
It ain't broke. Just stick it back in that slot. But like I said, right here it says, I read it again. Verse 13. Yet Yahuwah testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, which I sent unto you by my servants the prophets. Now, here we go. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in Yahuwah their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of Yahuwah their God, and made the molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshiped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah, to provoke him to anger. Therefore, judgment now has to come, because you completely disregarded everything. You disregarded him. You disregarded the time that he gave you to repent. You disregarded the prophets and the seers, and you just continued to do what you wanted to do because you thought he could not see you. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah, to provoke him to anger. Therefore Yahuwah was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Check this out, right? Judah was still left in the land, because you still had a few of Judah. He removed Israel. Remember when the kingdoms got split and Rehoboam had one tribe and Jeroboam took the other 10? Israel was known as Israel as one. But when they became split, they began to be known as Israel and Judah. Because Judah got to stay in the land the longest. That's why we were dispersed last via the transatlantic slave trades. When they came to get us, Judah was the only one left in the land. Judah and Benjamin and most of the Levites, because when they split, most of the Levites were following Yah, and they all defected to the kingdom of Judah. So although they were dispersed within all the 12 tribes, some of them did go corrupt. And when most of the Levites defected to the kingdom of Judah, or the southern kingdom, Jeroboam began to just pick people to be priests, and they were wicked. They just did whatever they wanted to do. They didn't follow any of the commands and everything. So this is what this is saying right here. So at this time right here, and he said he removed them out of his sight, all of Israel. And he said there was none left but the tribe of Judah. So at this time, Israel was assimilated and taken away by the Assyrians. And they were scattered throughout the continent of Africa and wherever they sent them. Judah was still, the southern kingdom of Judah, still got to stay there. And there was a period of time where Judah got kicked out and they repented, and Yahuwah brought them back to Jerusalem. They got kicked out, they repented, and he brought them back to Jerusalem. Then they just did the ultimate most. Okay, hold on. They did the ultimate most, and Yahuwah said, this time, he said, Judah, you have done worse than Israel. Your women with their, we're going to get to that, with their bracelets and their clinging ankle bracelets and all that. He said, you done taught your daughters how to be more of a whore than you were. And she does it well. I am baffled at this. I mean, it gives some pretty harsh language on what they was doing. And when I first started reading for myself, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the Bible. He said, what? And I couldn't believe it. I called I said, listen, go to Jeremiah, go to Isaiah, go to Ezekiel. Look, go to this chapter, read that, and call me back. Then she's like, girl, what did you say? I'm telling you. I was like, bruh. So, but I'm like, yep, they're my people. Those are hard-headed kinfolk. That is us all the way. And you can still see it. Even when we try to tell some of our people now, listen, we can try to tell them that we Israel. They don't believe nothing. Like, so a lot of the stuff that's happening now, excuse me, it's orchestrated. If you think about the first Exodus and everything that happened, every single plague, excuse me, every single plague that Yahuwah did was a direct hit to one of the gods that they worshiped. There were 10 plagues. There were multiple gods, but each plague addressed every single god. So he tore down all the altars of Baal, and the children of Israel, the sons and daughters of Jacob, got to watch and see. He says, stand by and see the salvation of Yah. So there was a distinct separation between who was not Yah's and who was Yah's through the courses of those plagues, and everybody knew it. So then you had some defectors from Egypt. It's like they begin to, like it's going to happen again. They begin, oh, you're the children of the Most High? Let us grab hold to your coattail and go with you, because he is surely with you. And they defected from Israel. That's why they say they went out a mixed crowd, because it's like, nah, Egypt, no, their God is God. Let's roll. Okay, what you need me to do? Oh, you need everything in my... Take it. What else you need? I got friends that I can borrow from too. You need some of their stuff too? Y'all told you to get everything? Hey. If y'all leaving out here in a mixed crowd with these people, everything in your house, you better get up. Let's go. Everything. Take them off too. Those are pretty nice, sis. And you got them on sale, but let's take them off. Here, what size you wear that? Yep. Take them off, your kids. So get it off. We got some sheets and they'll wrap up in the sheets. Shut up. Let's go, because we get to leave. We get to stay alive. We get to go. Give me everything you got. Let's roll. Sis, what you need us to do? That's how it was. So, it's going to be the same way. And people don't believe it, but if you just sit back and watch with your eyes and see what's going on. When in the history of the United States, since this has been a nation, and all other places, when has the world, all over the world, been shut down because of a virus? Look, guys, there are so many more things happening behind the scene, and people just think it's the COVID-19. It's absolutely not. It's called Yahuwah Sabaoth or Yahuwah Sabaoth. It's Yah that's doing this. Who else? Although he has addressed men to do it here, they didn't literally shut down the whole world, but pretty much with the exception of the essential workers, but everybody else. You didn't shut down all the national sports leagues, everything. Big plants are shutting down. What is that? Boeing shut their plant down. Big things. When has that ever happened in the history of all of America? And all over the world. I looked up some stuff. I was like, what's going on in Russia? Putin out there in the full hazmat battle gear suit. Going out and everything. I was like, oh, because we don't see them showing stuff that's happening in Russia. But I looked it up. They had the same issues over there. They don't have a lot of people there dying like we do, because he shut stuff down. They are shut down. But I started looking at a lot of different countries and seeing what they're doing. Some countries are hit a lot less by it, but other countries, they pretty much did the same thing. Africa is shutting down a lot of their countries, and people is trying to sneak into Africa. Bruh, you cannot. So every time you got Japanese people trying to sneak in there, you got Chinese people escaping from the quarantine camps and stuff like that. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching this, and I'm looking at everything in context with the 400 years and the decree that the president signed, recognizing 400 years of our people being here in this land. That was something. When I saw that, I was like, clearly something is going on. And that's when I really started going back and reading and pulling up. So I was like, something is happening, so all these little things, and we got to do this and this, and now people are beginning to apologize. Big people are disappearing or saying, I ain't saying that they don't have COVID-19 when they say they do, because they absolutely probably could. But you got people, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're lying or that they're telling the truth. I don't know. I really don't know. There's a bunch of speculation, and I learned not to really listen to the speculation as it's coming out. I hear what's being said, then I'll go back and get the full story. Just like if the president says something, and I know a lot of times they take it out of context because that's not the person that they want in power. So I'll go back to wherever that was said, and I will listen to it from the beginning to the end. I was like, that was clearly taken out of context. So they take one thing, headline, boom, president said this, and everybody's in the uproar. I'm like, people, just go back and look at the full story. But people's heart are already set to do or set to hate someone, that no matter what you say or the proof that you lay out, even if you hear the truth coming out the horse's mouth, they already set in their mind, this is not who they want as their king, and this is not my king. But Yahuwah says, I create evil and I create good. I set up kings and I dispose of kings. So directly, you're fighting against Yah. And I learned that early. I said, Father, you in charge. This man is here because you put him here. And a lot of people, y'all wouldn't do that. I'm like, clearly you don't know him. the biggest Christian in a church, preaching sermons, and you don't know him. You don't know anything about him. And you're leading the whole congregation and the people astray because of your lack of knowledge or because your rejection of knowledge. Therefore, you reject Yah, and therefore, as a result, he rejects you and your children and all the people who listen to your foolishness that you spew from between your lips. It's a disgusting thing. It's a disgusting thing. There was a tornado. Girl, I woke up this morning to go to the bathroom. And when I woke up, I saw the alert go off. And I saw that. I actually posted to the page. She said there was a tornado in Jonesboro, Arkansas the other day. It was so bad. People are like, why is this happening right now? We trying to tell people why this happening right now. Yah is coming back to deliver his people. And people are waking up. Let me tell you something. People ain't got no issue with Israel and support Israel when they thought they was white. But now they realizing Israel black. Oh, it ain't that big a deal. It ain't all that. You just apologize to the people. No. Apology, that's a good first step. Okay. But apology ain't giving us back our stuff. It's not giving us back our children and our men that you've jailed and you've murdered and all this stuff that has come to pass that Yahuwah has told us beforehand. He said, I'm telling you this now so that you would know I am faithful to you even here in the very beginning. He said many generations from here, this Abraham, this is what's going to happen to your lineage, to your posterity. And even Daniel saw it and fell sick for weeks because he could not believe all the horror that was going to befall us. And you think an apology? Yes, Yah sent us into this captivity because our ancestors turned away from him and we did everything he told us not to do under the sun, thinking he didn't see. So he promised us and he did. He delivered on his promise and now we're here. But it also says in another book, I believe it's Jubilees. I think it's Jubilees or Jasher. Tiffany, I know you know because we talked about it before. He said, in that generation, they are going to begin returning to me. That generation is going to begin turning their hearts back to me, and I'm going to bless them, and I'm going to name them. It's you can see it through the prophets and everything. You can tell this was supposed to be. I don't know. The early church fathers canonized this book and called it the Bible. There were a lot of different scrolls and stuff. It wasn't necessarily one big book. There were many different books from the different prophets and writings and stuff. And they just decided, okay, we're just going to take these and put them together. We'll call this one book and we'll just give it to the people instead of making everything available to the people. But things are available now. We can go and see. It's not necessarily canonized as scripture, but nevertheless, it's a holy document. And it's a document of true events that happen, and you can use them in your. And I use a lot of. I do aside from the Bible because the Bible talks about a lot of those, especially Jasher and some of these other ones, and the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel and the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. Remember, because they were separate. The kingdom had split, so these are separate books. So when this says something, I go to look for those, and it helps make the story a whole lot clearer. We can understand because we're getting taught half truths in the church, and we're getting taught. The church talks about preaching another gospel, but the church doesn't realize that they themselves are preaching another gospel. And it's like when you don't read it for yourself, you are completely blind and you cannot even see, because some stuff that they teach, Yahuwah specifically said, my people are not to do these things. And you try to tell people like, wait a minute, y'all didn't say that. Y'all are worshiping another God. And when we begin to tell them, oh, what? Don't you tell us? Or simple thing. And I'm going to finish reading the rest of this. Now, a lot of times, what I began to notice growing up, praise Jesus, we worship you, Jesus. And I get that, right? I get it being in church, but something always didn't sit right with me about that. I was like, wait a minute. So where does God come in at? These were my thoughts growing up as I would listen. That's why early I was arrested thinking about these things while sitting in church, and it's like, okay, so that's why I wasn't like that super hype and stuff, because I'm listening and I'm taking it, because you got to remember, I was dreaming, and God was giving me dreams as a little girl. So I'm seeing things that I keep to myself. I would rarely tell my mom about some of the dreams, but I would tell my grandma about some dreams because my grandma was a seer. She's passed away now. But I used to sit over there and talk to my grandma and read through her books of the dreams that y'all would give her, and it blew my mind. Like, I was excited. Can I see your dream book? Can I read your dream book? You know, so I would go through and I'm like, oh, and she would see visions and stuff like people. I mean, it captivated me, you know. So when I sit in church and I listen to something, I was like, something ain't right about that, you know. But I get it. Everybody praise Jesus, and you know, and it, you know, guys, this is a big thing. You try and tell people, oh, you blasphemy. I was like, but if you go back and read this, Yah says don't do that. He said, I am jealous over my own name. But in church, they teach you access the Father by this name. That is not what Yah told his people. We reading the same book? Okay. If you go through and you get familiar with his character, I think it's the test and the quiz. This is the test and the quiz that Yah allowed to all be combined together. And if you're not familiar with Yah, matter of fact, because we're in bondage, some of the stuff that it says, this is cool. That's the reason why our people are in bondage, because Yah said it is not cool here at the beginning. As a matter of fact, for quite a long time, matter of fact, the Old Testament or the Tanakh or the Torah was the only thing that our people had forever. The New Testament is a recent invention, y'all. It's a recent invention. And if you're not familiar with the Old Testament, you cannot see everything that's taken from here and added to here, or expounded on here, or misinterpreted back here, and it gets people off, and it creates doctrines, and it creates false doctrines. I'm not saying there's not a lot of good information back there. There's some good information and good living tips, but I am telling you, as sure as I know that I'm black and I was born a female. This is the test and the quiz, all in the same book. And while we're here, Yahuwah is still testing the hearts of his people. Who really knows me? I hear a lot of people giving prophecies and stuff, and I'm like, bro, can you see what's wrong with that? Can you see what's wrong? I can see what's wrong with that. You don't read, do you? And I decided I was not going to argue with people, because people, I mean, I get it. People, they have to see. And you can't make people see sometimes. Their hearts have to already be on that path of thought, or on that train where Yahuwah is opening their eyes little by little for them to even receive what you're saying. Otherwise, it bounces right off. It bounces right off. They cannot take it in. It sounds foreign to them. And the church teaches you, put up the nope, blasphemy, heresy, preaching another gospel. People will shut you down immediately. I'm like, okay, but I can clearly tell you don't read this, and you don't even read the New Testament either, because you cherry picking, and what you're saying doesn't make sense. If you listen to what you're saying, if you listen to what they're saying to you, it doesn't make sense. How come nothing's working? All this stuff they've been teaching you over this millennial. Why the power still not here? Why is the church still dead? Now, the proof is in the pudding, baby. And I ain't talking about some of these emotional meetings that they have, getting you all riled up on your emotions, and you giving every dime out your pocket, but you still end up dead 2 weeks later. What was that? That was not the power of Yah. That was not the spirit of Yah that came over you. No, that was your emotions being played on. And people don't want to listen. They don't want to see the truth that's right there in their face. All you got to do is just set aside everything you've been taught. Take the church hat off. Just look at it logically. What's going on in front of your face? Just pay attention. Don't be so super spiritual. You can find yourself dead somewhere. And I'm just like, pay attention, people. Pay attention. You know, so guys, let me finish reading this. Okay, I'm done. Yep. I stopped at verse 19. And I was saying that Judah was the last one left in the land, because they followed Yah. They didn't follow Yah. They got kicked out. They repented. He sent them a deliverer, brought them back. And that was a cycle that went on until he completely got fed up with it. He said, you are gone from this land for a many, many years. And the land, because that mean they defiled the Sabbath and everything, the land, and while you're in captivity, the land is going to rest and she's going to enjoy her Sabbaths. So, and that's this last captivity. But he also said that when I bring them back, when your children wake up in the land of their captivity, when they begin to wake up in the land of their captivity and begin to cry out to me and begin to return to my commands and keep my commands, I'm going to hear them and I'm going to restore them. And a lot of the church teachers, they teach the rapture doctrine, but that's not what y'all said. He said when they begin to cry out to me, he's coming for us. He said, I'm going to cause the nations to bring them back to their land. He said, I'm not going to bring them to heaven to live with me. I'm going to return them to their land and I'm going to come live with them. That's what this says. That's what this says when nobody reads it. When you try to point it out, get out of here with that. We know Jesus is coming for us. He's going to wrap us up so everybody's sitting in church and living around. Jesus is coming soon. Jesus is coming soon. I'm like, what book are you reading? I'm like, people, wake up. That is not what this says. It doesn't say that. And people argue. I was like, just go read it for yourself. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to read out my Bible. Go pick your favorite Bible. Your favorite Bible out your house, out of your stats, what you carry around, what you read out, and read it. Read it. It does not say that. It doesn't say that. And where you think it says that, where the church has and the seminary have indoctrinated you to think this says this, if you read it without their interpretation, it's clear what it says, because they play on scriptures, the rapture scriptures, and it's not what that says. It's not what that says, because we've been taught that so long. So, yep, that's a rapture scripture. Dead in Christ gonna rise first. And I was like, you know what? They pulled that from the book of the prophets, but you don't know because you didn't read the book of the prophets, but they left some stuff out. You got to go back and read it from beginning to the end. I'm telling you from what I know. I've been reading it out loud to you for the last 2.5 years. Second time going through it. Those who are going to hear are going to hear. And those that are not going to hear have chosen not to hear. That's why you can tell in their life there is no power. It's completely void of power. It's completely dead. There is no change. And they sit and they wonder why. God, do you even hear my prayer? I hear you, but it sounds like a bunch of blah, 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 because you're still not listening to me, and they're not getting it. They're not considering their ways. Yes,
this coffee.
It's not coffee. It's my coffee creamer. Leave it alone.
This is not yours.
Yeah, leave it alone. So, but I'm just saying, y'all, you try to tell people the truth, and it's our own people. I'm not sent to the world. I'm sent to my own people. My own people. 2 weeks ago, my mother-in-law asked me about Jesus. I told her how I felt. She has not talked to me since. And that's how people treat us, Trina. The very Bible that we read, when you start reading, like, oh, what? It say, what? And you start telling, they cut us off. Like, they completely cut us off, because now they think we're heretics or we're preaching another gospel. I'm like, preaching another gospel? This is what, open your Bible. That's what it say. What did I say to you? How am I preaching another gospel? And I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, Father. He said they've chosen to reject knowledge. So I'm just like, okay. And I don't argue with people. They stop speaking to me. That's fine. I understand they've chosen to reject knowledge. But I cannot deny what I've learned and what I've experienced since I've started reading it for myself, and not let other people dictate to me what the interpretation of it is. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. I'm going to finish reading this, y'all. Verse 19, 2 Kings chapter 17. Also Judah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers until he cast them out of his sight. That's what we just got done talking about, because they would not keep the commandments. And he said, in this day, my people are going to return to my commandments and they're going to do them. He said, I keep those who keep my commandments. But the church teaches you the commands are done away with. We worship Jesus and Jesus alone. How do you worship creation over the creator? How do you worship the creation over the creation? That's simply what we're saying.
Mommy,
excuse me.
Mommy,
you are worshiping. Oh yeah, I see. Thank you, baby. The hook fell off. You're worshiping the created work over the creator of the work. That's like people worshiping me, or us worshiping the prophets.
They're simply the messengers. And if you even go back and read, even the messengers tell you, do not worship me. Worship him. Even when the messenger angels or the Malaki or the Malakim or the word for angel, but they're angels, like true angels. And I'm not talking, because in here they don't make a distinction in the King James Version. They just say messenger or angel. But sometimes the messengers were actually human beings, and sometimes the messengers were angels, like in Daniel. But a lot of times when they say messenger, they just kind of lump it all together. But there is a distinction, and you have to know whether it's an actual angel, or the messenger is an actual person, because he calls the prophet sometimes my messengers or my servants. And you got to look, if you look in the original text, it actually they use different words for angels and humans. When they call them messengers, they're different words. So even just those small things, it throws people off, and they go into another whole doctrine, and it's simple things. And you try and point these out, and people just seldom believe in what they want to believe. We were starting to worship Jesus, we're going to worship Jesus. But all this stuff we done seen and done and happened in Jesus' name, y'all has given...
I want that.
Okay, I'll get to it in a second. We can clearly see that there is demonic power and things that happen that Yahuwah allows to happen, like some of the... Jesus made concessions when he died on the cross. So the Old Testament. Stop. So the Old Testament does. Yeah, they say that. They say that foolishness, Nikki. And it's like, how do you... Yes. I will give you some of that in a second. Hold on. And even a conversation with a friend, I just kind of... Yes.
You got some?
I'm not going to get any. I just bought out. And he mentioned, he said, he said... Yahuwah and Jesus are the same people. I said they're absolutely not the same people. I said that's what the church teaches you. That is not what the Bible teaches you. So he was silent for a few hours. Later that night, he said, after some research of what Daniel said and some of the other books, we have a conflict of we don't have the same theology based on the book of Daniel. I'm like, the book of Daniel? I was raised on the book of Daniel. That's my book. So you can't... I know for a fact the scriptures that they take out of context where they say that Jesus is the Messiah, he wasn't thought about then. Let me tell you something. Because if you read the interpreter, like we talked about the other day, I brought it up. What the church takes out of context, they take the dream out of context, but they don't keep reading further in that chapter, where the chapter in the book of Daniel itself gives you the interpretation. It gives you singular people, but if you read, he said, this is the interpretation thereof. And it begins to explain each singular beast and the one who looked like the Son of Man. And it said the one who looked like the Son of Man was actually the saints who took over the kingdom and reigned. It was Yah's people. It was the sons and daughters of Jacob. It was the nation of Israel who took the rule and reigned back. That's what it says. That's what it says. That's what I'm talking about. Taking things out of context, creating an entire other doctrine, and now people looking at this singular thing where it's supposed to be a nation of people, but they don't get the simple interpretation that was given to us in a scripture, and people cut you off and said to me, this conversation is not worth our friendship. I love you, and so we don't need to talk about this anymore because it's going to cost us. Believers, we live out of the same book? Do we serve the same God? We don't serve the same God. You do not serve the God of Israel. You do not serve the God of Israel. And that's what a lot of people think. That's why I make it clear. I serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why I make it clear. Because the church teaches you, and they idolize a person that they made into a God. And I cannot do that. It never sat right with me. Even my sister said, we ain't supposed to be worshiping Jesus. We're not supposed to be. Aren't we supposed to be worshiping God? We're absolutely supposed to be worshiping God. We're not supposed to be worshiping Jesus. People get their panties in a bunch and they're ready to fist fight you when you tell them that. I'm like, it's here. Go read it. Stop listening to what people telling you and go read it with your own two eyes. That's what you got them. Go read it. All right, y'all. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm done. Let me hurry up. And Judah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers. Stop, Judah. What you doing? Okay. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following Yahuwah, and made them sin a great sin. That's why I told him. That's why I told him yesterday. I'm sorry, I know I said I wasn't saying nothing else, but I told him, I said the church is committing a grave sin by worshiping Jesus. They are not to be worshiping Jesus. They are to be worshiping Yahuwah and Yahuwah alone. And he said he didn't agree with that. He said Jesus and Yahuwah is the same person, because that's what the church teaches, 3 in 1. All this is not. Yes, that's not what this teaches you. Don't press nothing. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until Yahuwah removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. The king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwellings, that they feared not Yahuwah. Therefore Yahuwah sent lions among them, which slew some of them. That's one of the plagues that we're going to see coming. The wild animals shall be their graves, meaning wild animals are going to start killing people. And so when y'all start seeing that, remember, that's one of the plagues that's coming back in this end time, when Yahuwah is coming to deliver his people. Think about it. He got everybody set at home in their house right now. So now, this is literally the calm before the storm. Think about what you're going to do. You ain't got preachers in your ears lying to you, unless you purposely now going to seek them out on TV. And up here, everybody is separated unto their own households. We're coming up on Passover. You better get it right. Listen to him. What is he saying? Bella.
I want that.
Okay, I'll get you this in a second. 1 second. I'm almost done. Got a couple more verses.
I want that.
Hold on. And it was so that at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not Yahuwah. Therefore Yahuwah sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye bought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let them teach the manner of the God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahuwah. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and they put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made. Every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth, Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites and Nibhaz and Tartak, and the stop, Bella. And the Sepharvites burnt their children. Tootie, burnt their children. Listen, you got to get out.
No.
Then you better stop. Sorry, y'all. I told you she was doing the most all this morning. And burnt their children in the fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared Yahuwah, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared Yahuwah, and served their own gods after the manner of the nations who carried away, whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day, they do after the former manners. They feared not Yahuwah, neither do they do after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law of the commandment which Yahuwah commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom Yahuwah made a covenant and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But Yahuwah, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall fear no other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But Yahuwah your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit, they did not hearken, but did after their former manner. These nations feared Yahuwah and served other graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers. So do they unto this day. He said, you cannot worship all of us. He said, you worship me or you worship them, but you're not going to worship me and them. Definitely not at the same time. Not ever. Not going to have it. And that's essentially what our people are doing in the church today. They're worshiping multiple gods. They say they're worshiping God, but they're giving praise unto another. They say they're worshiping God, but they're giving their praise unto another. Yahuwah said, I do not accept that. I do not accept that. And our people don't seem to see it because they're dumb, deaf, and blind. And they will argue down and call you the heretic when you try and tell them the truth. But that's no different than what they did to the prophets all through here. May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. All right, y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see you in the morning. Peace.
Bye, guys.